This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the fastest growing trends in the e-commerce world. It's the peptide skincare trend. We're going to dissect this trend entirely, and I'm going to show you several examples of Shopify stores that are absolutely printing in this niche, and also how they're printing in this niche, which, spoiler alert, it's through meta ads. So first and foremost, let's just get right into it. I found this specific store and trend by actually reviewing a few different meta ads. And the first store that I want to share with you that I found is called Sigskin. I believe it's a smaller, more like bootstrapped store. I don't want to call it a drop shipping store because I don't really know. And also, I don't really like that term too much. But this store right here, you can see, is using the shrine theme. Is a very popular theme amongst drop shipping stores or branded drop shipping stores. And they're selling this Korean peptide, skincare treatment. Now, there's tons of brands that are selling this, but none of them are brands that you've heard of. At least I've never heard of these brands. It seems after doing a little bit of digging, like the biggest brand that's selling this is this brand called Olive Young. So all the women out there, maybe you know better than I do. I would love to know if this is a popular brand in your, circle of competence. I had never heard of this brand until today, which is one of the reasons I'm so happy to be doing these kinds of videos. I feel like I learned so much. But look at how interesting this is. They're selling this same kind of peptide, but with Pokemon branded. Like it's a merch. They're selling skincare peptides as merch almost, right? It's Pokemon merch or Pokemon branded peptides. It's just, I never thought I'd see this. Now, first, I want to show you this one, right? And then I'll show you this one. I'm going to break down their traffic so you see the differences, and it's going to be pretty shocking. So stay till the end, and then we're going to look at some of their ads. But first, I want to show you just how fast this market is growing. I did pull up the trend here on ShoppyLab.ai, and you can see this has just recently seen a massive boom, and now it's kind of contracting, probably because it's past summer, but it's likely going to start exploding again here in these coming months. And yeah, it's just an extremely powerful trend. So as you see right here, just a quick description, peptide skincare involves the use of short chains of amino acids in cosmetic products to enhance skin health and appearance. These peptides can stimulate collagen production, improve skin barrier function, and reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. It's saying it can stimulate collagen. It's not really saying it will, which is a very subtle thing that you'll see in a lot of the latest health trends on e-commerce brands. They can't really say that it's going to provide a result, but they can say it could provide a result. And I think that's how a lot of these brands are growing so exponentially. But anyways, you see the global peptide therapeutics market is estimated at 117 billion in 2024. We're now in 2025. And, by 2030, this is expected to reach 260 billion. That is an insane amount of growth, right? That is literally almost exponential growth. It's going to more than double in the next 5 years. And I totally see that. This is actually a giant market in the Asia Pacific space or region. And what I'm noticing through making these videos, and if you've been following me for a long time, is that that's what's happening a lot right now. Is a lot of the Asia Pacific trends are actually coming to the US, and then likewise from the US, they move over to Europe and South America. Very interesting, right? Definitely something to note down if you're trying to build an e-com business, or if you're just, you like doing research like I do. So the first brand here, let's break down their traffic so you can see exactly what they're doing. This is a brand that I like to call, their chart is what I like to call up and to the right, right? I mean, it very simple, very self-explanatory, right? This just literally goes up and to the right. And these are the kinds of brands that I like to find, because when you see a brand that's going up and to the right, they're doing something right, literally. So what are they doing right? Well, first of all, product selection, right? This brand is absolutely picking the right product, even though their branding is not really that special, if I'm being honest, right? Like I said, this is just the shrine theme. Anybody could create a Shopify store like this in minutes, literally like 10 minutes. We even have a Shopify store builder that can build you a store like this. I don't talk about it too often, but it literally builds you a shrine inspired template just like this, literally. So just saying, and it's absolutely free. But Product selection, absolutely massive here. These guys killed it on the product selection, and also just making a simple template. That's another thing I will say, just providing a ton of results. Whether these results are real or not, that's not what we're here to discuss. We're not discussing, how ethical and amazing this brand is. We're just showcasing how they're growing. We're exploring their growth systems and strategies and the overall market. But anyways, they don't even have a footer, right? Like they literally don't even have anything in the footer. That's insane. But that's one of the things they're doing right. The second thing they're doing right is they are absolutely crushing it on Meta. As you see, they are running 170 different active ads at all times. That's what that means, right? That means they have 170 active ads. And that's incredible for Meta, right? Because when you have that many ads, Meta just has so much ammo to work with, right? To show the right ad to the right person at the right time. And that's what makes Meta ads so incredibly powerful. Now, another thing that's really interesting with them is their ad copy is honestly not what I would expect to work. I've been really diving deeper with some of my stores into longer, like more refined ad copy, but theirs just seems like super simple. They're just saying they're going after the same angle that we've seen in a variety of other stores lately, which is literally just save money, right? So they're saying spending $500 every 3 months on Botox. There's a better way. Korean silk lifting peptide emulsions uses the same peptide dermatologists inject. Acetyl, blah, 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 plus 29 more peptides and gold silk thread technology. The result, visible lifting, like it's just very simple. But it's saying, and it costs less than one Botox session. Do the math. So they're going very heavy into, this angle. And, one of the things that you could do if you wanted to, if you use the ShopiLab.ai software, which is, by the way, absolutely free for a lot of the tools in there, but this discovery feature is paid because we literally pay credits to use this feature ourselves. So we have to pay for it, or we have to charge for it rather. But you get like 5 other research tools on top of this that would altogether cost around $450 a month. Just saying. Anyways, you could literally just copy this transcript here and you could upload it to your own, ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you want. And you can also download the video and thumbnail if you wanted to. There's also an AI analysis that kind of talks about some of the core desires that this appeals to, like esteem, competence, empowerment. Competence is actually an interesting one. That's the one that I kind of see as, saving money. It's like, dude, you're being dumb if you're not doing this, right? Which is pretty interesting. And yeah, like I just said, I found this literally in less than 10 seconds by just browsing this. I was like, boom, boom, boom. And then I was like, whoa, this looks interesting. This kind of caught my attention. And then I explored it further. I checked out their ad library through just this button, right? Saw that they have 170 different active ads. And then I also just clicked shop now, saw their website that they're driving traffic to. And then I just used the Chrome extension that we just launched to look at their traffic. Very simple research process. This is my favorite research process. And again, you can sign up for ShopiLab.ai in the description. I'm done talking about it. Just wanted to explain it to some of you guys that don't really know how it works. That's all. But anyways, that's all the things that these guys are doing right. Now, let me break down Olive Young, right? Because this is the big bro example for this store. And, it's my preferred example, right? These guys are super scrappy, very simple, just meta ads straight to a shrine type of Shopify store. Very good product selection, very good ads. But these guys are like a massive brand. I'd never heard of them, but when I looked at their traffic, I was like, whoa, these guys are crazy, right? They're driving over 3.5 or 3.3 million monthly visitors. Now, let me explain something to some of you guys that may not know. The reason we look at visitors is because when we try to calculate sales, like as an estimate with a variety of other software apps, it's extremely inaccurate. And actually, traffic can be inaccurate too, but it's a better measure usually. It's usually more accurate. And what I see from my own stores, right? For example, the other day, one of my stores had about 1,000 visitors in a day, and it made 5,000 in sales back. So what I usually see is that when a brand is getting a lot of US traffic like this, their estimated visitor to sales ratio is going to be like 1 to 3 or 1 to 5. So that means that if they're getting 3 million monthly visitors, times that by 5, that's $15 million a month in revenue. Insane amounts of revenue, right? That is so big. And of course, with a brand like this, they're getting a really high LTV. LTV stands for lifetime value, which really people say that when they're trying to calculate how much value each customer is going to it has, right, for their brand. And one of the ways to increase that number is to simply have more products available and always be launching new products that are in trend, or on trend rather. And that's what these guys do. So they absolutely crush it. Super cool brand. I looked at their Facebook page. They're posting a lot. Of course they are. They're not answering comments, which is really crazy. That's one of the things that I always find insane about some of these big brands, because they can just literally use Smart Reply. I talk about this all the time because it's one of my favorite tools to use right now to just automate my entire customer service for every single one of my stores. And it's $50 a month. It's insane. And that goes for email, social media, DMs, literally everything. But anyways, these guys are running a lot of ads, and I really like their ads. They're actually sort of like, I don't know how I would call this, but like Asia inspired ads. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it just kind of reminds me of like Temu, Shein, or Shein, AliExpress. They kind of have these like crazy mega sale ads. And right now, those seem to be working extremely well, and not a lot of people are doing it in the US. But like this one, for example, it's really beautiful, actually. It's like really in your face, but it looks super cool to me. And this one is definitely in Korea, so that's interesting. Maybe I think that's Korean. Sorry, if you're in Korea, I actually do know some of you guys are from Korea, because I get contacted by a variety of you that tell me you're from China, from Singapore, from all these different cities and countries. And I love that. I absolutely love that we have this global community. This one's really cool. This is a cool ad right here that they got. So what's the hottest body skincare in Korea right now, with this like glass sort of aesthetic? And then boom, this is such a good ad. I actually love this ad. This is really good. And then it's just all these messages. It's this message style, but it's all their products, right? All the hottest products. And then they go to, let's see what happens when we click this, all their best sellers. And let's see the best sellers in Korea. Actually, this is a really good idea. Look at the best sellers in Korea, take them to the US, right? So right now it's truffle first spray. Interesting. So a truffle spray might be the hottest trend in a bit. I don't want to toot my own horn here, guys, but I have been seeing a lot more people just on social media randomly talk about new trends that we have covered like months in advance, even years in advance. So just something, I just want to say, like, a lot of the research that I'm doing here, I'm obviously doing for myself. I don't want to sound like I'm this like super altruistic guy, but at the same time, it is extremely valuable if you really pay attention to these things. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Very interesting trend. Lots of competitors, but no one that's really that good. I mean, these guys are able to crush it with the shrine theme and just ripped creative. So if they can do that, then you can probably do it yourself too. Again, if you want to launch a store pretty much just like this, use our AI store builder. It's super simple. It takes about 7 minutes to set up. It's absolutely free, literally costs $0. Same with Shopify Lab. Like I said, the discovery tool is paid, but we have a ton of other tools that are not paid, like all our calculators, our sourcing features, even some of our other features too, but you got to make your own account on there. We have a ton of really cool stuff here. You can make an absolutely free account. And I want you to make a free account so you can join our community too. We have a Discord that you can attach your account to. It's really cool. It's really fun. And I want to grow it as much as possible. I'm even recruiting affiliates and clippers right now. We've been getting some really interesting clips being posted actually for Shopify Lab. And if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link for that in the description as well to join our affiliate server and clipping server. I think, again, I'm biased, but I think that's probably the best way to make money online right now is to be a Shopify Lab affiliate, because you earn monthly lifetime commissions on all the subscribers that you bring in, and you get paid for the views that you get with clips of me talking about Shopify Lab, or just clips of me in general. I have like literally thousands of videos you can clip from, and you can use that money and knowledge to build your own e-com store, right? That's like the trifecta. Like, that's a perfect side income. And again, that's what I'm doing, right? Like, I'm literally building e-com stores every single week. I'm absolutely taking advantage of this crazy AI opportunity with e-com. And yeah, it's really exciting, honestly. I think we're going to see the biggest Q4 ever in the history of e-commerce this year. So get in, start, engaging with our community. Ask me any questions in the comments. If instead of dropping some sort of skeptical or hate comment or telling me, oh, Ari, you're just selling your stuff, whatever, just ask me a question. Like if you're confused about something, if you want to know something, just ask. I'm literally answering all of your questions. I try to answer every question when I can. So, just ask questions. That's really all you got to do. And then take action on some of the things that I'm mentioning in my videos. And then you don't have to be skeptical. You'll see it for yourself. But yeah, that's about it for this video. Peace.